For the Interrobang, I'm Jack Sutton. On this week's episode, our guest is Mik Hawley. She's an international student all the way from California. So we're going to talk to her a little bit today on some of the adjustments she had to make coming here, what life is like in Canada for someone from a place like California. So Mik, to start off, can you tell us a little bit about your hometown?
I don't know, can I? You said California was such vitriol.
Did I've actually never been. I have very little opinion on California.
Okay.
I'd love to go.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm from a little town called Santa Cruz. I've lived all around that county. It's very, very beachy, kind of like a little hippie town. Yeah, it's kind of like all of these little like sub communities. So you see a lot of the same faces
Yeah,
wherever you are, which is really nice. The downtown area is just this one street, Pacific Avenue, which is,
that's
it's
so
nice.
California.
Yeah,
Pacific Avenue.
Pacific Avenue,
Wow.
and then there's Front Street paralleling it.
Okay.
But yeah, I miss it. Um, that's Santa Cruz.
Now, where is Santa Cruz kind of in relation to other cities in California that our viewers might know?
So I tell people that I'm from South Bay, but people who are from real South Bay would tell me that I'm lying.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the Bay Area, which is San Francisco,
Yeah,
and that's the big San Francisco Bay. And Santa Cruz sits south of South Bay.
okay.
So it's on the northern part of the Monterey Bay. So
A
if
lot
you're
of bays.
looking, yeah. So the Monterey Bay, there's Monterey at the southern tip, and then Santa Cruz kind of sits at the northern tip.
Mm-hmm.
I used to work at the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk,
Mm-hmm.
and people would point across to Monterey, and they'd like see a landmass, and they'd ask me if it was Hawaii. Which
I can
no,
see
that's
Russia from my house.
that's about 15 miles away. Not It's not Hawaii.
Yeah, yeah, definitely not.
But I mean, like you got to understand when you live in like an area like that, like there's very touristy, like people come there who have never seen the ocean before, so they have no like
Mm-hmm.
idea of the scale.
Yeah. So yeah, you mentioned it's kind of in the Bay Area. How long would it take you to drive to say like San Francisco?
An hour and a half, or if you take the route that I would take, about 2 hours.
Okay,
Just because I want to avoid the scary highway. So,
fair enough. Um, yeah, I mean, so that's like really cool. I think for a lot of people here, a place like, I mean, even just California in general, but like that San Francisco area, it seems so exciting and vibrant. Like, what does a typical day for you look like at home?
I mean, probably like the same as anywhere else. I mean, I wake up, make my coffee, make a bagel, go out and sit outside for a little bit. I did really like so where I lived before I moved here, I lived in the mountains. So I'd walk out and I'd hear the birds, which was quite nice.
Yeah.
Waking up early in the morning, and go to work like anybody else. I guess occasionally, because at one of the jobs that I worked at pretty shortly before I moved here, I worked like in Santa Cruz proper, which was about a 25-30 minute drive.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess sometimes like I'd take the beach route home, which was added 10 minutes to my trip, but it was nice and it was scenic. And if I
Yeah.
had money for gas in my car, then it was worth it. You know what I mean?
No, definitely. Are you a beach person?
I do like the beach. I love swimming in the ocean. I'm a huge ocean nut, just
Mm-hmm.
but I'm more like I would prefer to sail than to like be in the water myself, but I
Yeah.
still do like swimming in the water.
Okay.
It's always frustrating going to the beach with your friends and then nobody wants to get in the water, but you want to get in the water and
Mm-hmm.
then you don't want to be the only one who gets in the water.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm that friend that doesn't want to get in. I don't want to be wet and then have all the sand stick to me, and I like to just sit there and try not to
I'm judging
burn.
you.
It's okay, I accept your judgment. The beach is just not it's not my place. I love the idea of it. It's just it doesn't like me. I can barely swim. I would probably drown if I got stuck in the water. Um, and I burn. I burn very quickly, as you can probably tell from my complexion. Um,
I also burn very easily.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's why I asked if you're a beach
Yeah.
person. I was expecting a resounding no. Um, but I'm surprised. Sailing, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Nowhere to do that here though, really.
We're right by the Great Lakes.
You're right. I don't drive, so to me it's like there's
Yeah.
the Thames, and that's as much water as I can
Yeah,
feasibly
fair
reach.
enough.
But yeah, you're right. I guess there's Grand Bend, Port Stanley. So we have two Great Lakes easily accessible.
Yeah.
Um, so why London? Why did you move to Canada from
Okay.
such a sunny, happy place?
Okay, well, no, when I was looking at schools, I had like friend of a friend who graduated from the program that I'm in, that
Hmm.
you're also in.
Yes.
Um, I had a friend who had, or again, friend of a friend who had graduated from this program, and I was looking at programs everywhere for journalism, and um, she spoke so highly of it
Mhm.
that like it was just. And then I also, have people affiliated with me in London. So even though I might not be the biggest fan of London, Ontario, it's like the program I like, school is great.
Well, yeah, I mean, Fanshawe seems to have some decent credibility, even worldwide. It seems so. We have so many international students. It's just unfortunate that people need to come to a place like London for it. Um, what was your first? Now, when was the first time you came to London? Was it to come to Fanshawe, or had you
Yeah,
been before? Okay.
no,
Well,
it was when I came to Fanshawe. I'd never toured the school before or anything.
now when you first entered the city, I don't know if you flew into London.
I
Probably.
drove.
Oh, you drove. Okay.
I drove across from California here.
Through probably many better places and maybe a few worse
Well, I
ones.
had to cross all of Nebraska.
See, that sounds so
A lot
cool.
of cornfields. No, it really puts into perspective because Canada and the United States are so huge.
Yep.
And driving across, the continent really puts into perspective
Mhm.
just how big it is and how vast it is and how diverse it is. Cause it's really
Mhm.
easy to like touch down on a plane somewhere, like take a 3 hour plane ride a couple hours away and just immerse yourself in a different part of the continent.
Mhm.
But it's a different thing to actually like watch it go by as you're
Yeah.
driving.
The landscape changing, getting like
Yeah.
through the prairies and mount. Yeah, it'd be really interesting. I would be asleep in the back seat for most of it, but yeah, it sounds like a really cool experience. So, what was your first thought when you drove into London,
That I
Ontario?
wanted to sleep.
That's usually the thought that I have every day I wake up in London, Ontario.
Well,
Uh,
no, we got in pretty late,
yeah.
so at that point it was like, okay, well, me and my dad were switching off. Like
Hmm.
at that point, it was we'd been driving for 3, 4 days. It was like, okay, like I want to get somewhere. I want to sleep, and then I can actually move in and everything tomorrow. And
Yeah. I feel like the best time to arrive in a new place is during the day, well rested. But
it was
did you go out and explore the next day at all? Like, what?
no.
No, nothing.
No, I moved in.
Yeah.
The next day was full of moving in, hitting Walmart, hitting Costco, getting all of everything
Hmm.
settled. It actually took me probably about a week to even do anything.
I mean, yeah, you
Um,
just had an exhausting journey, and setting
mhm.
yourself up in a new place, it takes time and
Yeah,
energy.
and I mean, we had the semester starting in a few days. It was hectic too. And like I think I might have told you this story before, but I haven't told them this
The
story, of
viewers.
course. The viewers. I was supposed to stay in a long stay Airbnb.
Okay.
I booked an Airbnb for 8 months. That was about $600 a month.
Oh,
And it
amazing.
was,
Wow.
yeah, no, I mean, like it was, and that way I didn't have to lease for a year and I
Hmm.
could go home or something over the summer. I'm in Nebraska 2 days from here, and I get a message from my Airbnb host that somebody is squatting in my room and that I have nowhere that I am going to be able to live when I get to London. And
Oh my
so here
God.
I am with my life packed in the back seat of the car, everything that I have decided to take with me as I move across the continent. Um, and I find out that this Airbnb that I booked for 8 months while I'm here for the semester, somebody is in it and will not leave it. So
I would have. Okay, I was about to say I would have like grabbed a baseball bat and they would have been leaving. I probably wouldn't do that. Um, I would want to. That's crazy. So, how did you deal with that
I
then?
called the school, frantically crying, and was like, "Do you guys have any like?" I went through like 4 different people. I was emailing, like I'm sitting,
Hmm.
like my
Like
dad
even
took
a
the
broom closet,
yeah.
anything?
So they got me into Kestrel, and I stayed in Kestrel Court.
Yeah.
So I was able to move in, but after like that emotionally exhausting, like I was ready to
Hmm.
just chill.
Yeah.
which of course I didn't get to chill. I had to move in, but
Wow. So, I mean, your whole kind of everything changed the last minute then. So, yeah, that's crazy, but you did it. You got through
yeah,
it.
I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm in London.
I think a lot of people would have just started crying, called their parents, and turned the car around
Well,
at
I
that
mean,
point.
I was driving with my dad. So,
So,
like,
okay.
yeah,
Step one and two already already
yeah,
done
I
there.
mean, I was crying to him and he told me to go to bed so that because
Mhm.
we had to drive 12 hours the next day and I'm like, I can't go to bed.
Oh, true,
I
'cause it
don't
happened
have
in
a place.
Nebraska.
Yeah, we were in North Butte, Nebraska.
North Butte? Uh,
North Butte, Fort Butte, North Butte, one of the two.
Somewhere nobody's ever gonna
Somewhere
go.
somewhere in western Nebraska.
Yep.
Um I had a lovely drink with a toothless redneck lady there.
Okay, that's kind of fun.
Yeah, she was telling me about how California shuts off the power for 12 hours every day. Um,
This reminds me of my hometown.
which
Um,
doesn't happen, by the way. But
no, I
it was interesting to see another part of the country's ideas about what happens in other parts of the country.
yeah, I mean, I think at some point today we're definitely going to discuss some of that, what's going on down there in your country, because how can we not?
God.
But we'll leave that for now. So once you got settled in London, give me like your first kind of few takeaways about the city. Once you'd kind of lived here for a bit, got to know the place. You can be honest.
Poorly planned.
Yep.
I mean, it feels like, and I've heard this from other people before, but I agree. Like there were a bunch of different towns, and then they just kind of like duct taped them all together.
Yep.
Um, I mean, it's just really difficult to get from one part of the city to the other.
Yeah. Add in the LTC.
Yeah, the LTC isn't great,
Yeah.
but I mean, the transit in my hometown was also terrible. So, like, transit is just terrible in a lot of places.
Seems to be a very common
Hmm.
trend in Western cities. Um, okay, so yeah, poorly planned city, absolutely. I don't think London's ever accepted that it's a growing city and a big city. It's always
Yeah.
just
Well,
looked at band-aid solutions.
it feels like it's this weird mix between a city and a town,
Hmm.
where, like, in a town, you kind of have that charm where it's like you see a lot of the same faces. There's, some sense of community.
Yeah,
And then in a city, there's like there's the bustliness of a city, and
yeah,
there's that draw and that appeal, and maybe a nightlife. And, you know, London kind of feels like um, this weird mixture between the two that can't really decide what it is because
hmm,
you don't have that draw of like a nice town.
yeah,
But at the same time, you don't have like the liveliness of a city. And I've been to other Canadian cities. I've been to Calgary, I've been to Vancouver, I've been to Toronto,
yeah,
and like they all have um that city feel. And then I've been to Victoria and it kind of has that town feel, but if you go into like Victoria proper, it does have that city feel.
yeah.
And London can't really decide what it is. It's having a bit of an identity crisis.
Hmm.
And yeah, I don't love it here.
Yeah, me neither.
There you
So
go.
I also moved back here from better places, and it was shocking. Just like you said, like just London is it's not a town, it's not a city, it's just a desolate hellscape. Sorry, I hate it. I
Sorry,
hate it here.
is
Uh,
this the Trash on London podcast?
it's honestly, it seems. I think it might be a trend. I do tend to hate on London every chance I get publicly. But I'm here, so I have to make the best of it. So on that note, I'll try and do the same thing. Tell me something you like about this city and you like about living here.
I mean, I love Fanshawe. I really do. I mean, like I really like the people at Fanshawe. I have great conversations. I mean, the food's not terrible in London.
Hmm.
There are some good places. Um the nightlife is okay. I really like the London Music Hall. I actually really like the music scene here.
Okay.
Um I mean, it helps that I have, a partner who's very engrossed in the music scene here.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, there's not things to do. It's just like not like enough. It's not like a
Yeah.
city type of things to do. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I've always said in London, it's like people don't leave their homes. I don't know. I walk out on the street any time of day and I don't see any like normal people.
You just see unnormal people.
Exactly. Um, yeah, I mean, not to get into everything, but there are definitely people on the streets that have a lot of issues, and that generally is the majority of the people I see outside, and like, it's really kind of just discouraging for the living in a city like that.
Yeah.
Um, no, I was gonna say the only thing that I can think of that I really like about London is the squirrels.
You like the
I
squirrels,
do. I
so
have a squirrel friend.
you have
Yeah,
what's their name?
I didn't name it. It's the squirrel, my squirrel. Um,
I
a
got
bunch of them live outside my house, and I feed them. Like I bring them nuts, and then like
it.
if I even go outside, like he knows. He runs up to the door and he's
Feed me.
like he actually like gestures. So I just go
Oh,
get us some nuts. And they're everywhere in London, and they're really like
they're
they're
cute.
edgy little squirrels. Like they're not afraid of anything. Like they'll just come right up to you. So that is my thing that I like about London. I told you I was gonna think of one. Um,
The bungalow, that burger
I
place.
love the bungalow.
That is my
Hmm.
favorite place in London,
That
and
was my
it does feel
neighborhood in high school.
really.
Yeah.
I found it just out of the like it happened to be. I was really really hungry one day, and
Hmm.
it happened to be the closest restaurant, and I'm so glad that I found it because it's like my
Yep.
favorite place now.
Their deep fried cheese curds. I love them. It's like actually a
Hmm.
big thing, and they're really good.
Yeah.
And it has that like little small neighborhood pub
It
feel.
does. And
Yeah.
like that part of London feels like a small town.
Yep.
And I was with a friend who saw his like high school teacher bartending there. And then there was really that like people are knowing each other. Like I didn't know anybody because again, I'm a newcomer to London, but it had that feel, that
Hmm.
town feel that I was just talking about that I I,
Yep.
I love. So
Yeah, and, like Old North kind of has that a bit. Wortley Village really has that, and they have like lots of little local places and like that small community. So it just goes back to what you said. Like London is like a whole bunch of smaller towns just kind of glued together. But the downtown core, it's like you don't get that.
I don't really feel like you get it here either in this part of London.
No, no, it's just
Yeah.
Fanshawe is this part of London, and
Yeah,
it's just
and like
students.
I've lived in my entire time in London. I've lived in the general vicinity of
Yeah, Fanta.
Fanta College. Go there. Um, no, like I've lived in the vicinity of Fanshawe, so I haven't really been able to appreciate
Mhm.
that.
And it's not the nicest. It's not the most beautiful area of town. Um, but I mean, at least there's some good services and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so London, we've established it's not the best, but it has some upsides. Um, we'll talk a little bit about the temperature because you came from California, warm, sunny, happy, and you came to southwestern Ontario, cold, dreary, gray, sad, especially in the winter. Um, how did you find that transition as the days got colder?
There's just so many things that you don't think about,
Hmm.
like like I walked outside one time and my hair was wet and my hair froze. Like I would never have thought that that was a thing that even
Oh
happens,
yeah.
but that's probably something that people here like just know, like inherently,
Yep.
you know?
Oh yeah, I think everyone who grew up in Canada probably has memories of like going to elementary school with wet hair or going out at recess and like cracking your hair
Yeah.
when it freezes. It's amazing. Now, do you find like going out with wet hair in the winter, is that like a no-no for you guys? Like, do you think that will like get you sick or be harmful to you?
Like in California?
Yeah, just like yeah, I guess in California, going out with wet hair in the cold.
Um, I mean, it's like it doesn't really get that cold
Fair
where
enough.
like where I'm from. Like it gets cold at night, but like oh my god. I know like some of the transitions between Celsius and Fahrenheit, but I'm not like super.
Oh, I don't know.
Um like the cold for us
Yeah,
would be like maybe 8 to 10 degrees is like a decently chilly winter day.
balmy. Yeah,
Like it's like but even in that weather, I'm going out in like a sweatshirt,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And it also like it doesn't really rain that much in California, plagued by droughts.
It's
So,
beautiful.
well, I mean,
I
we're
want to
plagued
go.
yeah, I mean, but you wake you're like taught from a young age to take a 3-minute shower
Hmm.
because turn the water on, get your body wet,
Yeah,
and like soap down your hair and everything. Turn the
conserve the
water
water.
off. Like so there are downsides. Um but yeah.
Okay. The reason I asked was because I mean you've met my husband Luca.
Yes.
Um,
I love
I'm
Luca.
married to an Italian.
I love Luca.
Yeah, he's great.
He's the best.
Now he also recently moved to Canada. It was his first winter, and they have this thing, this belief, obsession, really, that they have over there called the colpo d'aria. It's like I think it means like hit of cold, or hit of air, and it's this idea that if you go outside in cold weather, especially with wet hair, but even just if you're exposed to the wind in any way, you will die. Like you will get so sick. They believe so. Like trying to get him to take on the winter in a really Canadian fashion, it just doesn't work. And his mother, if she even sees a picture of him like outside, uh, without full scarf and like balaclava, pretty much, she'll call and I will get an earful about how I'm killing her son.
Please don't kill her son. I love her
Yeah,
son.
yeah, he's nice. Um, so we actually had a pretty mild winter last year that you've probably heard by now. It was like the El Nino winter, and we have La
Yeah.
Nina coming up this winter. So we got off easy last year, so you
Yeah.
get to ease into it,
Yeah.
and then this year is going to be like the big one, um, maybe. Are you prepared?
No.
No.
No, not even in the slightest. No, I mean I have a snow jacket. I have my beanies. I mean
Hmm.
toques.
The
Um,
toques, yes.
yeah, I
Can you
mean,
spell that?
is
Toque?
it Touk?
Oh, close. Toque, I believe.
Really?
We'll fact check that later.
Yeah,
Uh,
please fact check
yeah,
that.
they told us we wouldn't be fact checking tonight.
I didn't know that I was competing in a spelling bee.
I
Actually,
like to keep everyone on the spot when they come on the couch.
thanks.
Um, anyway, so winter, you're not prepared, but you got all the clothes and stuff, so that's good. I'm sure it'll be fine. Now,
No, I'm gonna die. I have the immune system of a dead goldfish, and you just told me get hit by
uh,
a cold gust of air,
a
and I'm
very
going
wise
to die.
professor once told us oregano oil can cure
Please don't
all
say
your
that to me.
ailments in the winter. Um,
Is it the professor I'm thinking of?
perhaps. Uh, so yeah, have you tried any like Canadians really like winter activities? I'm really generalizing here. I actually don't, and I know many that don't. But the stereotype is that Canadians really like winter sports,
You're stereotyping
skiing.
your
I
own
am. I'm
country.
stereotyping my people. Like snowboarding, skiing, snowmobiling is a big one if you're a country person. I've had my snowmobile license when I was a kid. Um, have you tried anything like that since you've been here?
So I'm actually dead terrified of skiing and snowboarding.
Really?
Yeah, I had an experience when I was a kid where the first time I even saw snow, and in California we call it the snow. Whenever we go somewhere
The
where it
snow.
snows, it's like it could be Tahoe, it could be Bear Valley, it could be anywhere that it snows in California. Like we call it the snow. Like I'm going to the snow.
Going to the snow.
Yes.
I love that.
No, but we went up to Tahoe and we went skiing like right as the blizzard rolled in. And I guess the people at the ski resort had put my sister's skis on wrong. So we stop at like on the side of like one of the super easy bunny slopes,
Hmm.
and my sister like my we've stopped there. My dad is trying to help my sister like put her skis back on.
Yep.
Meanwhile, I'm wearing like a snow jacket that's like 4 sizes too big for me, and it's just filling up with snow. It's just filling up with snow. And I'm wearing like a white t-shirt underneath and just like blue jeans. And so I got hypothermia. Um
Wow. I'll have to tell Luca that the colpodaria is real. It's called hypothermia.
well, and then I guess somebody broke their leg on one of the actually like hard courses.
Hmm.
So like all of the ski patrol and whatever are like zooming by, and my dad's trying to flag them down. And it was an Australian woman who scooped me up in her arms and carried me down the super easy bunny slope to the lodge while I told her that I missed my mom. And she came and she found my mom, and it was all okay. But because of that, I'm terrified of
Yep.
skiing and snowboarding, and I will never go again, which is funny because my younger brother actually wants to be a professional snowboarder when he grows up.
Okay.
um
A little worried for him.
no, I mean, like, I know it's an irrational fear.
Yeah.
Like, I can fully like rationalize and understand that it's an irrational fear, but it was like a scary event from my childhood. But
Hmm.
like, city snow is fine. Like here in
Yeah.
London, it's like if it's on the side of the road like that, I'm not afraid of that. And actually, what was really fun that we did last year was like one of the first snowy days, we went down to Victoria Park, and one of my classmates let me borrow their skates,
Hmm.
and I did better than some of the London locals, by the
Amazing.
way,
Okay,
which
congratulations.
was awesome.
Yeah.
I used to like rollerblading. I don't know if that carries over.
Yes.
It didn't really feel like a similar skill, but
They're both kind of thin, vertical
yeah,
things that connect with the ground. I'll give you that one.
I have decent balance.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. You can't see on the camera, but she is wearing a cast on her leg, so
Yeah.
I am going to
Oops.
call into question the good balance.
Well, you know what? I have good balance when I have not had 8 vodka tonics.
Ah, okay. Yeah,
There we
that'll
go.
that'll do it. Uh, all right. So we've talked a lot about kind of like you coming to Canada and your mindset, but of course, I think I don't know if it's a stereotype, but I think a lot of people in America have really warped views of what Canada is, what Canada's like. How would you like describe Canada in your experience to your fellow Americans who maybe think that we live in igloos and are
Oh
friends
my
with
God.
Justin Bieber?
Hello Americans and other hello Americans specifically. Um, no, I mean I think that Canada and the United States are functionally very similar, at least
Hmm.
the parts of Canada that I've been to.
It hurts me,
Obviously,
but you're right.
I
Yeah.
haven't really been to the far north of Canada, but
Hmm.
you know, I think that there's a bigger similarity between a place like Seattle and Vancouver
Hmm.
than there is to a place like Seattle and, New York City.
Yeah.
So I think the geographical just closeness is
Hmm.
way more of a factor than, Canada being a different country and the United States being a different country.
Yep.
So, really, Canada and the States are very, very, very similar. So,
Yeah. No, it's true, and like you said, the geography, like Vancouver and Seattle, and you see it in movies all the time. If it takes place in Seattle, it's filmed in Vancouver.
yeah.
If it takes place in New York or Chicago, it's filmed in Toronto. So I think more than countries being similar, I guess it's the geographical areas, right?
Yeah. I mean, this here in London, it
Hmm.
feels very, very similar to some places I've been in the Midwest,
Yeah.
and we're geographically, I mean, we're like, as the crow flies, very, very close to
Yep.
Cleveland,
Oh yeah,
you
just
know.
across the lake, really.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. No, I wonder if you could like compare London to a city just before we go. Which city is London?
Oh my God. I don't know. I truly, I don't know. Because I don't want to say a city that I hate because I don't hate London. I just don't like London.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Hate is
Um,
a strong word that some of us choose to use.
well, there are cities in the States that I hate.
I would just say that London's like, I don't know, Boise or something. I've never been there. I don't know
I've
anything
also
about
never
it,
been.
but I
Well, I've
just it
never been
feels
either.
bad. So
But Boise, Idaho.
yeah,
Well, wait, you said it sounds bad. Sure, I've
yeah,
never been,
yeah. Me
but
neither.
that's
Sorry to hate on Idaho, but that's what I'm gonna say.
okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mick.
You're so welcome,
Yeah,
Jack.
I learned a lot about you that I didn't know. Mick and I are in classes together,
Yeah.
but there's a lot that I didn't know. So great
Say hi to
stories.
Luca for me.
I will. He will love to hear from you. So you can pick up our new Interrobang issue from any of the Interrobang stands around
Pick
campus.
it
It
up.
is our tech issue that's coming out. And you can also catch up on episodes of the Red Couch podcast on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from, really. For the Interrobang, I'm Jack Sutton.
And I'm Mik Hawley.